Askreddit asks, do you ever just sit in your car outside your place without the radio on or anything, just not wanting to go inside yet? If so, why and what are you thinking about? I'm caregiver to my elderly mother. My home situation stresses me out a lot. Sometimes I get home from work and sit in my car and think about how trapped I am.
I try not to think at all. It's the only part of the day where I have zero responsibility or accountability. Wherever I just left and the place I'm about to be will have people asking something from me. But for right now, in my minivan, no one is asking me anything. No one needs a file, a drink, an answer, a signature, a snack, a walk, a story, a source, an envelope, a follow-up, a shoe tied, a dish washed, a kind word, a nod of acknowledgement, a helping hand, a blowjob, or my frequent shopper's card. Just a few minutes is all I need to handle all of that.
That moment for me is when I'm going to sleep. It's late enough to where everyone else is tired or asleep and they don't expect anything from me and just leave me alone.
Sometimes I just enjoy the cool summer air while sitting in my car at night.
Oh, and rain. I have left the house to sit in the car during a storm.
Like when the sun is getting low and you can smell someone's barbecue. Heaven.
That is very relaxing.
So you sit in silence.
I'm too tired to go inside.
I've definitely gotten home and laid my head back on the headrest and fallen asleep. There's a perfectly good bed just right inside that door, but nope.
Going inside takes too much effort. Work bags, gym bags, lunch bag, grocery bags, bags I should have taken in yesterday. And Lord knows I'm not taking more than one trip.
When I park my car, I shut my brain off and just sit in silence. I don't think, I just exist.
Sometimes quiet is violent.
This is me all the way. I turn off the car. I enjoy it when it's get hot in the car. Best time of the day when I do this.
I'm literally doing that right now. The car is still warm. I'm way too exhausted and I have a bunch of stuff I need to take in from the car. I cry at work that I want to go home all day. But as soon as I get home, I procrastinate going inside lol.
Mustering the strength to load up all the stuff and trying to take it all in one trip. That's the hardest part of the day. Right there.
At home you have the pleasure of being able to procrastinate.
I do this at least 2 to 3 times a week when I get home from work. I'm a kindergarten teacher and at the end of the day I'm dead tired and often emotionally drained. I'm often thinking of the students in my class who come from very difficult, sad home lives. I worry about them getting home safely. I think about how they won't be greeted with a hug and asked what they learned today. I wonder if they'll go to bed hungry. And even though I'm exhausted, I wish I was still with them at school to make sure they feel safe, happy, and loved. I just need that time to decompress sometimes before I'm ready to flick the switch and go back to my home life. Edit. Thank you all so much for your kind words and support. It really means a lot to me. Sometimes my job feels pretty thankless. So it was very uplifting to have such nice comments.
Having grown up as one of those kids, we notice and you make a difference. Thank you.
I sometimes sit outside my house listening to music to have some time alone from social interaction. Other times I'm just thinking about what it would be like to wake up and be a fish. What it would be like to wake up and be a fish, it's pretty wild, not gonna lie.
Yeah, how I'm exhausted and I know that the moment I go inside, I'm going to be bombarded by my kid screaming, running wild, and I'm going to get an earful about his behavior from my parents. Being a single parent is hard. Being a single parent of a kid with behavioral issues is even harder. Edit and update. Thank you so much, kind friends, for the gold and silver. It's my very first for both. Thank you all for the outpouring of love, encouragement and support. Just to give a little more detail. My son is 6. He has severe ADHD and OD. He is currently on medication. As even the neuropsychologist that diagnosed him said that there's no way he would be able to function, let alone learn, in school unmedicated. And it's true. Without medication, he is so high-strung and impulsive that it's dangerous. We've tried multiple medications and while we've found one that helps some, we're still struggling. We're currently awaiting an appointment with a pediatric psychiatrist to figure out if he needs multiple different medicines. We live with my parents because I need so much help with him, not just because of his behavioral issues, but because I have a genetic condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which results in constant pain and debilitating fatigue. I often need help with things like making the kiddo breakfast, keeping him occupied while I have to rest, putting him to bed, etc. I don't want it to seem like my parents are nagging me or giving me a hard time about my kid's behavior. It's a very stressful and exhausting situation. We all get weary and they have every right to vent and even complain at times. They are amazing, and from the moment I found out at 19 that I was pregnant, they have been loving, helpful, and have gone above and beyond to help us both every day.
I am dead tired, depressed, all of the above, but I have to go because school is worth it.
Samesies. I've been in my driveway for 20 minutes. I'm alone when I go in and will do the same thing I do every night, so what's the rush?
Every time I come home by myself. I've recently given up drinking and have been trying to cut back on tobacco. I have a wonderful life. I can't wait to live it. It's just a step outside my car door. But all I've been able to linger on is how awful I have been to all those who love me and all the wonderful things in my life. And I can't shake the feeling that I've deserved any of it. I'm excited to go into a dog's, or excited just to see me. To be able to talk with my girlfriend. To walk around my property and be excited about getting the garden and corn in. To let the ducks in the pond. All the eggs the chickens are about to give. And to go visit the piglets once we get them. But it hurts because I've been such an awful person, and I hope changing what I hate about myself is enough to deserve it all again. Edit. Thanks. Yal. I know it's the right choice. And I know it's the withdrawals talking. Ending my 5th day sober out here, I'm sure it will be an emotional roller coaster for many more. But taking it a moment at a time. And if anyone is considering giving up drinking but isn't sure where to turn, or isn't sure if AA or Anther program is the thing, please consider stopping by our Stop Drinking. You don't need to post or comment, just read and see. It is a wonderful community full of folks who understand where you're coming from because they're also working on it. It has been a huge help for me. But if it isn't for you, I really hope you do find something that works for you if you want to kick it.
Not necessarily thinking, but instead letting the song that's playing on the radio end. So I won't be unsatisfied all day. Or have that song stuck in my head.
But what if somebody stole your car radio?
I see you are aware of the song Karma.
Yup. I work in a call center. I've learned to appreciate silence.
The beep in your ear that causes you to respond with your bullshit greeting. Grimacing face, I'm right there with you.
I feel you. When I first started there, I had the worst headaches I've ever had. And after a particularly busy day, when I come home and someone is trying to talk to me, what they're saying just doesn't go into my brain because I'm overwhelmed with being talked at all day and the sound of my own voice.
I spend so much time doing this outside my call center too.
Staring into space and feeling defeated is what I do. I don't need to be in a car to do it. This is my existence for the most part.
I don't want to do this at all.
I keep telling myself it's worth it. School, work, feeling like I have so little time to do what I want. But goddamn if I don't sit there sometimes thinking how badly I don't want to do this.
This is the simplest but most accurate answer. I just don't want to.
This is my daily routine. I get to work 15 minutes early to just sit in my truck and psyche myself up. And worse yet, I'm the boss.
If the boss isn't amped to be there, the staff isn't going to be.
I know the feeling. Walk through those doors and the roller coaster starts.
Defiantly. Anyone with young kids probably does. If I'm not ready to face them yet, I'll sit outside for a few minutes. If I've had a crappy day and am in a bad mood, I'll sometimes take a few minutes to decompress so I don't bring it in with me. That's a smart time out.
not anymore, but when my mom was in the last stages of Alzheimer's, yes. I would listen to the radio and try to tell myself that it was going to be okay. That eventually she would let go, and so would I, and there would be peace. I would look out the windows at the stars and moon and remind myself there was an entire world beyond my pain and her pain. Then I'd plan out what I could do that would brighten both our days just a little bit, and I'd go inside. Sometimes I'd scold myself for not having been patient enough, or not gotten her into the doctor soon enough, or whatever other thing I chose to beat myself up over. Because I was supposed to be Superwoman and save the world. And I couldn't even save my own mother. Now that she's gone, I don't do this. Because I don't have to. She's at peace and so am I, and that's the best it's ever going to be.
Knowing that while I'm at work I'm distracted by my coworkers and meaningless tasks and bullshit brought on by others. As soon as I step into my place, because it's not my home, I will remember that I moved to a different state, leaving my friends and family for a job that had left me completely alone. No real friends nearby, and with not a lot to do. As soon as I got inside, I'm alone once again, and the emptiness inside of me grows bigger. Sleep is better than being inside alone.
I hope you'll be able to make new friends. It's definitely not easy, though, but I understand that loneliness.
Many days. I come home from work and pull into the garage. I turn the volume down on the stereo, and close the garage door. I leave the car running and just think about my life for a few minutes. The worse my day was, the longer I sit there. Some days, I question how much longer it would have been before I passed out. Not saying you're a danger to yourself, but if you need help, please reach out. My aunt who raised me died from this very thing. I wish she would have reached out rather than keeping it all in, even when I asked her. I miss her every day, and I'm sure someone would miss you too. I'm just a stranger online, but if you need to talk, I am always down to listen. Closing parenthesis. Get well.
Sometimes when I dock my ship in port, all of the sailors get out. The medical staff, the gunners, and I just sit there in the cabin looking over the harbor and view the city from a distance.
Thought this was all innuendos for a bit.
Sometimes I wonder what it'd be like to operate a private merchant ship. I feel like it'd be a very peaceful job most of the time.
My favorite song came on just as I pulled in. And I'm not going to let my radio win that battle.
I've had these thoughts.
I love my wife and kids. But work is tough and I just want some quiet. Also, my wife hasn't really touched me in 3 years due to major postpartum depression and difficulties from birth of our second kid. So it's like going into a house with 2 kids and a hormonal, stressed teenager.
It's a go-to response, I know. But have you tried marriage counseling, man? How many more years can you go on like this?
Honestly, that there were years where I could have up and moved wherever. No limits to what I did, etc. And now I have to plan my day around a trip to the store because of 2 toddlers. I could wake up late daily if I didn't have to work. Now I'm woken up multiple times each night. I used to read a novel every few days. And now I haven't finished anything besides a children's book in over a year. I was popular in school. Now I literally have one kind of friend. I love my kids. I love my family. But damn, I miss myself. This is why I don't want kids. Fuck all that, no offense.
How good NPR is.
They call it the driveway moment.
Came here looking for someone to mention NPR driveway moments. My love for NPR literally started with a driveway moment, haha.
I'm a widow for the past 2 years now. I'm 27 years old and I have 2 kids. I can't even complain that I'm not managing and that financially I'm not doing okay. By the end of the month I come out on top with bills and a little extra, etc. My kids are doing great and life is good. But now and then, before entering the house, the kids will get off the car and run inside and I'll just sit in the driver's seat and look at my house. The house I lived in with my hubby for years. And the thought of going inside and knowing he's not there to greet me. Not there to tease and playfully trouble me. Not there to give me a simple hug and peck on the cheek. That pain is crushing. It sucks the breath out of me and I can barely breathe properly. My heart actually pains with remorse. I give myself a few minutes. And then I wipe the tears and hold my head high. Get out of the car and enter the house with a smile on my face. It's a loop.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to support the channel, and above all, have an excellent day, you amazing people.